What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast, a weekly video game show where we talk about games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined by Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno to you as well. How are you this fine
I'm doing
day?
okay.
Okay.
I've been standing a lot today, so my feetsies kind of hurt.
I see. Well, at least you can sit.
At least I get to sit on my nice tall chair.
Yes, and we can sit and have wonderful conversation about the video games we know and love here on Team Chat Podcast, where you can listen to new episodes every week at 9 a.m. Central Time on Tuesdays when the new episodes come out. You can listen to those on podcast services around the World Wide Web, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and others. You can also watch a video version of each episode on YouTube. So head over to teamchatpodcast.com/where to listen for a complete list of all the places the show is available. You can also find us on social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can join our Discord server, where we have a lot of fun conversations about games when we're not on here recording the show. And finally, if you would like to help us make the show bigger and better, you can head over to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, where for a small monthly donation, you can help us make the show bigger and better, as well as get some cool perks along the way, like early access to episodes, special Discord privileges, and other fun little tidbits of content we like to put out. But if you can't do that, that's no big deal at all. We totally understand. And we would still appreciate your support, though, with either comments, subscriptions, or whatever, reviews, telling your friends. Word of mouth marketing, it's great. So, however, we love that you're all here, though, listening and engaging with us on the show. But before we get into our moment with Mogan and our main topic of the day, just wanted to remind you all that, as we announced in our last week's episode, we are going to go on hiatus for the rest of the month of October. We're just going to take that time to plan out some things, specifically our Extra Life Day, which we are going to do on November 2nd. So another announcement for you. 8 a.m. November 2nd, that's a Saturday, to 8 a.m. November 3rd, which is a Sunday, we'll be doing our Extra Life stuff. So we'll be planning for that. We're also going to start recording a backlog of episodes that we can have whenever we do have to miss weeks due to life circumstances. We can still give you the show uninterrupted. So that's kind of why we're taking all this month off, just to plan and have a collective fresh breath.
Well, also I will be in Japan.
You'll also be in Japan, which will make it very difficult for recording.
Right smack in the middle.
But you'll be in the video game mecca.
I will be. It is exactly 14 days away.
Woo!
I know. It's scary.
That's exciting.
I'm not prepared even a little. I'm just planning to show up and hope for the best.
And just be like, well, this is Japan. Awesome.
Like,
I'm here.
cool.
Let's find out what's here. Let's eat some good food and
exactly. Really hope I can find my hostel. I probably can.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
So, just wanted to remind you all of that we will be taking the rest of the month off, but we will be returning on November 2nd for our Extra Life Day. Now, we can move in to our moment with Mogan.
Indeed. So this is going to be much longer than usual because basically, since we're not going to be here for all of October, I'm going to try my best to kind of blaze through all of the main releases for the month of October. And unfortunately, unlike August, there's actually a lot.
I was about to say, we're in that fall release window now.
Kind of strap in, everybody. So first up, we've got Destiny 2 Shadowkeep for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC. That comes out October 1. Neocab for PC, October 3rd. Ghost Recon Breakpoint for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC, October 4th. On October 8th.
That was coming out so soon.
Yeah, right?
Cool.
Anyways, Atlas comes out for, a Microsoft exclusive.
Oh.
Atlas comes out for Xbox One and PC on October 8th. Also on the 8th, Concrete Genie for PlayStation VR and PlayStation 4. Don't know what that's about, but it sounds interesting.
It has something to do with, like, I don't know much about it, but I believe it has something to do with, like, your character, like, gets his ability or something like that through, like, doing graffiti or in, like, tagging things. It kind of looks
cool.
like a fun artsy game.
Neat.
I literally know nothing else than that.
I like the sound of that. Indivisible comes out on October 8th as well for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. I do actually know a little bit about this game because I've been following it for, it's got to be a couple of years now. Indivisible is one of the, it was either on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. It's basically one of those crowd-funded video games that has now reached completion.
Nice.
It's finally coming out, and it looks like a really fun time, so I might actually pick this one up. Indivisible, that's coming out October 8th. Also on the 8th, John Wick Hex for PC and Mac. Yes. Also on the 8th, there's a lot coming out on the 8th.
I'm excited about John Wick Hex.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You pre-ordered that?
It looks, I love the John Wick universe. It's great. It's awesome. The movies are all fantastic. They get better with each one.
Well, that I don't doubt. I agree.
This one this game is like a tactical turn-based combat system thing, and it just looks like it's kind of similar. I don't know if you've seen like the Lara Croft Go or Hitman Go, where it's basically like these like top-down set, like isometric set pieces and everything, and you take your turn. You have a specific amount of actions you can fulfill, either like through fighting, movement, whatever, and other abilities, and then your enemies will do their move, and then you get to like fully plan out your attacks and stuff. It looks very in depth in like the strategy
plus
stuff. Rabbids. Yeah, kind of fairly XCOM stuff like that, kind of. So it looks a lot of fun.
That sounds like it is definitely not for me, but
No,
congratulations.
I don't think so, but I'm excited for it.
Also on October 8th, we have Trine or Trine. I have no idea how you say this. Trine 4, The Nightmare Prince. That sounds kind of extreme. That's coming out for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Also on the 8th, coming to a couple of new platforms. Oh no, this appears to be an expansion. Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. So I guess
think that's a new one. I think that's two.
Really? You're kidding me.
No, that's the second one.
I didn't realize that the game had gotten a good enough reception.
And I believe it's even changing like how it looks. Like I don't think it's going to be the same style.
God.
Art style, I think yes. Like they're not changing like the character models and stuff like that, but I think it's more of like a more 2D this time than 3D.
Okay.
I could be speaking completely out of turn, but I know there's something different about it. But another one I forgot was coming out so soon. So much fun stuff in October.
Yeah, so that's Ukulele and the Impossible Lair for yes, Lair is correct. For PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, October 8th. All coming out on October 11th are Doraemon, Story of Seasons for Switch and PC. Grid for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC. And Killer Queen Black for Switch and PC. Coming right after that on October 15th, we have Children of Morta for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. That sounds very like Lord of the Rings.
It does.
I like the sound of that. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition is coming to Switch on October 15th.
That's still so crazy.
There's no way that game's going to run on Switch. There's no way.
I don't know.
Good luck to
Project Red knows what they're doing.
They're probably not the ones who ported it.
That's true.
Yeah, anyways.
Whoever they're doing,
You really
know what they're doing.
You really think they can compress that game small, like to
from the small bits
function.
of media and stuff that I've seen about it? Apparently, yes.
Highly
I am
doubtful.
Optimistic. I'm not going to get it for the Switch.
Yeah, of course not.
But,
you already own it.
Yeah.
October 16th, we have Little Town Hero for Switch. On October 17th, Felix the Reaper for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and Mac. On October 17th as well, we have Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes Complete Edition for PlayStation 4 and PC. On the 18th, Lovecraft Tales, The Whisperer in the Darkness for PC. On the 18th as well, we have Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Also on the 18th, Ring Fit Adventure. Oh, this one's that crazy new fitness game. Yeah, okay, so this is Ring Fit Adventure coming for Switch.
That one, I watched the video. Other than the...
I'm sold. It looks so fun. Yeah, it looks so fun.
It looks so fun.
It looks ridiculous, but it looks so fun. And I'm a sucker for those like Wii Fit type games. I love that kind of stuff.
But it looks like you could potentially get a fairly good workout, especially with like the running and the jogging and stuff.
You got a great workout on that. How dare you slander Wii Fit?
Oh, I wasn't slandering. Okay. I'm just saying with the new one, it looks like you'll still get that same level. But actually, no, I never really did play much Wii Fit at all. So
you missed out.
I did.
Loser. Anyways. The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 for PlayStation 4 on October 22. Also on the 22nd, we have WWE 2K20, another sports game that undoubtedly follows the trend of being an updated scam to get your money. Don't buy it, people. Call of Duty Modern Warfare for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC comes out October 25th. Also on the 25th, Medieval, like spelled medieval, but medieval for PlayStation 4. That's October 25. The Outer Worlds for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC also comes out on the 25th. After Party is almost closing us out here. So After Party comes out for PlayStation 4 and PC on October 29th. Also on the 29th, we have Harvest Moon Mad Dash for PlayStation 4 and Switch. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD comes out on the 29th as well for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And at the very end of the month, Luigi's Mansion 3 comes out for the Switch on October 31, exactly as it should. Yep. That's a good launch day release.
Good day for a spooky game.
And Moons of Madness, which sounds like another spooky title, for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, also on the 31st.
Nice.
Jesus.
That's quite the list. October is a chock full month of some really fun sounding games, it looks like. I did think, though, I'm pretty excited about that Modern Warfare. It's going to be a good one. Although I could not, after playing the beta came out last weekend, and I played a bunch of it with my buddy, and it felt so good. Like, it just felt like old, like classic Call of Duty that I remember, now without all the crazy BS of these specialists that have been in Black Ops 4 and Black Ops 3 and stuff like that. So it's a good return to form. But I could not figure out which platform I wanted to get it on, because now they have crossplay. You can play with anybody. So it's like, ooh. But my main buddy who I'd be playing it with has it on Xbox. And I was like, but PlayStation is where I'm going to get all those trophies and everything, which I normally get
Does
trophies.
Xbox not have trophies?
They do, but I mean, they have the achievements,
right?
But I have the majority of my trophies and stuff on PS4, and so that's why I'd kind of like to keep that going. But because Activision can't do anything without a slight scandal or scandal of any kind.
Has there already been a scandal?
Yes.
Oh my God, really? I can't wait.
Scandal might be a strong word, but
wait,
still.
let me go get my tea.
But no, they basically announced that there's one of the side modes of Modern Warfare is Special Ops, which is just these really intense, very they can be played co-op or solo. These very intense, quick missions that you can run for like either time and to run up different points, and you have all these different objectives that you can achieve.
So it's basically just challenge mode.
Yeah, basically, and with it, but all versions are getting that. But they announced that within this last week or when they announced the trailer during Sony's State of Play on September 24th, they showed off a new trailer for the game, and they announced there that the PS4 is going to be getting a special mode within a mode of Spec Ops called a survival mode basically in there, that Xbox and PC will not be able to get because PS4 will have exclusivity on this for a year.
Why?
But now remember, and this is what got everybody pissed off, why for a whole year? That didn't work with with the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Like, nobody cared.
And just for one mode?
And just for one mode, within a mode. But what's got everybody mad is that Call of Duty is an annual game. By the time exclusivity's up, everybody's going to move on.
Yeah.
So like PS4 players get this free mode basically that nobody else gets, which is really dumb.
That is really dumb.
I can't bring myself to boycott the game completely because I'm too excited for it.
God, you're such a sheeple.
It's too much of my nostalgia. It's too much of my nostalgia because of how much I love the original.
Oh my God. And this is why they keep taking advantage of you.
No, but I'm buying it on Xbox, not PS4.
Okay, see, that's at least a good stance to take,
Yes.
I guess. But still, that's such a...
It's a weird move. It's like, what is it going to hurt?
I mean, what could Sony have possibly paid
but the big
warrant
thing,
getting their own special mode within a mode?
But the one thing that the more I have no idea, and why this continues to happen, even though it makes no sense with the game being cross-platform, and I really didn't mean to take up this much time on this, but here we are. But the game is cross-platform. Everybody go and play it. They've already said there are going to be no paid DLC. Everything that comes out post, there will be, I'm assuming, still cosmetic items that you can buy and all that shit. But still, there's not going to be like map packs, DLC, all that stuff is going to be free, because they said in the multiplayer reveal live stream, the developers on the stage said for the recent releases, there's been too many of the player base basically being divided with, you'll be playing, half the people have the new maps, the other half doesn't. So it just creates this disjointed community. And they're like, we want to bring that all together with this game and bring it all back together. That's why there's the crossplay. That's why everything's going to be free. But then they still turn around and do this. It's dumb.
I just can't even understand like how this could be seen as profitable from Sony's perspective.
Right.
Because that doesn't sound like a draw to me at all.
No.
Of course, I'm not a fan of Call of Duty, so none of it sounds like a draw to me, but still. It's
like to be this one little tiny mode that PS4 players are going to get, and that's the hill you're going to stand on and die on, apparently, because it made everybody mad. So we'll see.
Of course it did, because it's a really stupid idea. I totally get it.
As soon as that news came out, I was like, well, okay, that solved it for me. I'm getting it on Xbox.
Yeah, there you go.
We're moving on to another exciting bit.
Yeah, you have had a lot of like news going on lately, bro.
I know. It's been a good week. I'm actually behind on a little bit of it on the new stuff with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. They had like a new trailer, and I wanted to do a big video on that too. Have not had the time. Probably not going to have the time.
I don't know why, but when you said it wrong the first way, like Jedi Fallen something.
Yeah.
I immediately got like the mental image of like a Star Wars game that's only about skydiving, and I was like, how fun would that be?
It would be a great VR one, and it could be like Beat Saber.
Yeah.
Where you're like flying around.
I don't even want you to
stuff.
have objectives. I just want you to be like,
Just free
I
falling?
want you to be really old Obi-Wan Kenobi, like right before he kicked the bucket,
Yeah.
and just like have him go out in style.
I'd play it. It's a Star Wars game. I'd play it, of course.
The ideal way to play.
But the big news, though, when we finally got everybody all excited and all together, is on the same state of play from September 24th. We finally got a new trailer for The Last of Us 2. Thank you. The Last of Us Part 2.
The one coming out in 2010, like you said on Twitter.
Oh my God. I kicked myself so bad. They showed the release date, February 21st, 2020. I, in my excitement, immediately went to Twitter to tweet that out and to express my excitement, but I said 2010.
You sure did.
Mogan was right there to be like, oh, that's weird.
And although you can always delete a tweet and
Can't
repost it, but you can't edit tweets. So
And I
was
needed
like,
to live in my shame for a little while. So, as it is.
Anyways.
But no, they finally gave us the release date for The Last of Us Part 2. They gave us a new trailer, a little bit more, showed off a little bit of gameplay, or some like action and everything in the trailer. The trailer was very intense, very hype. You can actually go watch. I did make a reaction video for that. Check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/teamchatpodcast, where you can watch my reactions to it all. Got very excited for very different things. But the big thing also too is that it showed Joel, which we
I
hadn't
saw
actually
that.
really seen yet. So
He's
there was a
looking
lot.
good.
He is looking good, and so there was a lot of speculation about, is Joel dead? Is Joel? Will you only see Joel in flashbacks? Will there be? Why have we not seen Joel yet? Basically, and so that was finally put to rest that he will be in the game in some capacity. There was also a big mystery because it looks like from the trailer that Ellie's a potential new. Oh no, definitely she's just Dina from the E3 2018. Trailer that they showed where they had that
Is
that
it
kiss.
Dina or is it Dinah? Because in my childhood
might
song, someone's in the kitchen with Dinah.
It's now
Dinah.
you've got me confused.
I'm going to say Dinah.
Okay, we'll just go with it.
You can say Dina. I don't care.
But anyway, so it shows in this trailer that it looks like she might be getting killed, which might be what propels Ellie forward in her journey of revenge and murderous rage.
That unfortunately fits really squarely into the kill your gaze trope.
But, which is true, and I have seen that, and I do understand that. Which, if they go that way, but I'm not convinced that that's the way
You
it's
think
going.
she might live?
I think.
Do you think she's the secret bad villain in the end?
No.
Oh.
I think there are three potentials. This is a little bit of hypothesizing. I think the three
Can we
people,
say conspirializing?
Sure.
That's not the
We're
word for it.
conspirializing on
We're
this.
doing it anyways.
But I think there are three potential people that that could be getting killed. Yes, Dinah. I'm going to say Dinah.
It does remind one of dinosaurs, which is like a double. It's so pleasant.
That's true. That is true. So it's either her, or it's Joel, or it's Joel's brother Tommy.
Joel has a brother?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, you've told me this.
Yeah. He's
I
in the
know
first
this.
game.
Yes.
He plays a big role in all that stuff, and he was in the trailer as well. And the chronology of the trailer plays out, it does look like it's Dina. It's Dina. Now I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. What have you done to me? But
Did you like put in parentheses the pronunciation? Like
no, I didn't, like a
D?
fool. But anyway, so I feel like you could be either one of those three, and they're just leading you on with it potentially being Ellie's.
So it wasn't
Love?
like a hard. I actually didn't watch the trailer. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch it. I have no stake in The Last of Us, unfortunately. So
should, though.
was it
It's
basically like one of those cutaway shots where like you hear a gunshot but you don't
It
see
leads
who
up
gets killed?
where it looks like Ellie's looking for her. She's calling her name out in this snowstorm. She's going to these buildings and hunting for her. Then she goes into the doorway. Somebody grabs her when she goes through this doorway, throws her to the ground, and then the next frame you see, cuts to black. Next frame you see is Ellie on the ground, beaten and bloodied, and she's like saying like, "Oh, please no," like and then it cuts to black with a gunshot, and she yells no. Oh. So you don't know. So I'm not totally convinced it's Dina yet. So we'll have to see. Wait and see. But then within the days after, they did, from the day the trailer was revealed to September 26th was Outbreak Day, when the infection spread in the first game. And so that's always a big day where they release a lot of cool new goodies and stuff like that. And that in between those 2 days is when they had like a big press event where people could go and play a couple hours of the game. And everybody was like freaking out, having a really good time. Said it looks great. There's a ton of great new features and everything coming in, such as like Ellie's abilities and movement are way upgraded. There's new clickers or infected enemies that like it's called the Shambler that like spits acid and poison, and then when you kill it, it explodes.
That's me in the morning on Sundays. I'm a shambler.
And so there's going to be some new stuff. Like there are going to be enemies with guard dogs patrolling areas, and
Guard pups.
So yes, you do have the ability, if you so choose, to kill said puppies if they have to attack you. But it's also, really, it was talking about in the article from PlayStation Blog, where you can go read all this stuff and a breakdown of some of the new features that were shown off. If you kill the guard dog's handler, then you can't see, it's harder to see the guard dog in like tall grass. But if you kill the guard dog, then obviously it alerts the handler. So there's like these like payoffs to either situation. They also like really wanted to focus it and make the enemies not be so just like, oh, they're bad guys. I feel nothing as I slaughter them. But now that one of the things that it did show off is like if you secretly snipe someone and the enemy people, like they freak out, they're like terrified, showing that it's like it's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
In your game, because you're Ellie, you're the good person. In their world, you're the bad person, kind of thing. So
that does bring up a really funny dichotomy
Exactly.
because, like, when you kill somebody in most other games,
it's just okay. Cool.
I mean, the enemies get alerted, but then they kind of look at their bro, and then they'll like turn and go back to their regular business.
And apparently,
that's
this
really
one
funny.
it like really sets things on high alert. People are like you can hear them like grieving and like being like, oh my god.
Do they try
Danny!
to like? Do they try to like bring out the medics and like save them?
I don't know that.
That would
they
be
didn't go
next
that, but like
level
it's
amazing.
apparently a very immersive world. Like
Okay,
this.
I
So
like that.
It looks like a lot of really cool stuff. The big thing though, the other like small. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal, is that they also announced after this trailer came out, it broke the next day, literally, that there will not be a multiplayer mode in Last of Us Part 2.
Thank God.
Even though there was one in Last of Us Part 1. An actually really unique and fun multiplayer mode that I actually played a little earlier today, just to get my chops back up on it. But so everybody was like, wait, what? Hold up. Why? And Naughty Dog came out with like a statement about it, which I think is really good. And just addressed it head on. Like it wasn't this quiet, like, we just didn't want to do it. So here's what they did.
Games like Last of Us don't need multiplayer.
I don't think
modes.
they do either.
They just don't.
But I don't think they do either. But Factions is what it was called in multiplayer in Last of Us Part 1 was so good. Like it really was a very unique, fun, had a lot of different with like working in these crafting abilities. The combat is very tactical and stealthy. It's not a whole lot of running and gunning. You have to be careful. You have to play cooperatively. It's a very fun mode. So people were obviously upset by this. Naughty Dog's response was, we wanted to address the multiplayer in The Last of Us Part 2. As we stated, the single-player campaign is far and away the most ambitious project Naughty Dog has ever undertaken. Likewise, as development began on the evolution of our Factions mode from The Last of Us Part 1, the vision of the team grew beyond an additional mode that could be included with our enormous single-player campaign, which I like that word, enormous. Describing a single-player campaign. That means long, hopefully. Wanting to support both visions, we made the difficult choice that The Last of Us Part 2 would not include an online mode. However, you will eventually experience the fruits of our team's online ambition, but not as part of The Last of Us Part 2. When and where it will be realized is still to be determined, but rest assured we are as big a fan of Factions as the rest of our community and are excited to share more when it's ready. So that is very interesting and leads to speculation of to what that will eventually be. Will it be like
more conspiralizing?
I know there's a whole lot about it to conspiralize about here. But so it's one of those things. Is it going to be like a download that comes out in a couple months, kind of like Red Dead Online did? It didn't launch with it. It came, I think, a month, maybe two later after the release of Red Dead Redemption 2. And so maybe it's something like that. Maybe they're trying out just like a standalone, like it could be some kind of like multiplayer battle royale thing. I don't know if they're going that way, but like, there's a lot of different ways it'll be going. And it's interesting to say that they're going to package it as its separate thing, which is going to be interesting.
Are you ready for
my
conspiralize?
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
So here's my conspiralization.
Okay.
It's a really fun word to say. It's going to actually be a semi-flashback version of the game.
Okay.
Where it's right after The Last of Us 1 ends and before Last of Us 2 begins, where Joel and Ellie are still together and they have to go to like an old bombed out mall to go clothing shopping for Ellie because she's going through puberty.
There you go.
That's my conspiralization.
So what will be the multiplayer aspect of it? Just co-op shopping?
Yes. Because one of you obviously has to go to the dress department, and the other one of you has to go to the trainer bra department.
So, but it could also, though, be building off your idea, which I think is totally plausible.
It is.
and
It's
gonna
very
happen,
plausible. I think so
is
too.
While Ellie's shopping, you as Joel have to set traps, defend. It's like a survival mode.
You're ruining my version of the game.
No, mine's making it better. So anyway, there's a lot to think about, and that's exciting to see. It'll be very exciting to see what that eventually turns into. So, but we have a release date. We've seen more gameplay. At this point, though, I think like they released more videos, more like behind the scenes stuff on it on Outbreak Day and everything. But I think at this point,
You're ready to
I'm
stop
ready to go
watching.
silent. Like
Good.
I know the game's coming out in a few months. I can be patient. I have 4 trailers I can watch if I get nostalgic and need that little bit of hype to rebuild.
You don't need the
I don't need the hype though. I'm just excited as all hell.
Yeah.
So anyway, Last of Us Part 2 looks outstanding. I am beyond excited to get to play this game. February 21st, 2020. Mark it on your calendars. Pre-order like I did. Collector's edition. I could have gone for the LE
It
edition, but
includes a frisbee.
LE edition house, yeah, that's a joke on our Discord. One of our members on there, he was like, I'm not gonna lie, in the picture of the LE edition, it comes with like a small blue vinyl of part of the soundtrack, and he's like, not gonna lie, I thought that was a frisbee.
I would have preferred a frisbee. I'm not gonna lie.
We're gonna switch gears over to Mogan because she's gonna give us her first impressions on a wonderfully lighthearted, far and away polar opposites
Polar opposite
of The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2.
and Call of Duty and
Exactly.
all the rest.
You know, it's been a little down and dark with those games. Brighten our days.
We're gonna brighten not only up our days, but our very hearts themselves. So I'm gonna be giving first impressions of Link's Awakening for the Switch. So of course I got this game. Oh, I didn't get it on release day. You want to hear a fun story? I think did we record? No, I was somewhere
Recorded,
else.
like, a day before.
We did.
2 days before.
So it
release.
came out last week on Friday, and I went to the store after happy hour with my friends to go pick it up, and they didn't have it. They were actually out of the physical copies.
Which store did you go to?
I went to, I think, Walmart.
Oh.
Because they had it for $10 cheaper than they had it at Best Buy just on release
My
day.
God.
And I was like, oh my God, that's actually
That's
like
why it's sold
a
out.
10. And yeah, that was exactly why it sold out. And then on my way out, in my terrible disappointment, I was getting my phone out of my bag to look up other places that had it. Dropped my phone
Oh, no.
as I was attempting to take it out of my bag. And like, it's not terrible, but I definitely like shattered the back of it a little bit.
At least it was the back.
It's not enough to cut me, and it's the back.
Right.
So as soon as I actually suck it up and get a real protective case, which I really need
Which
to
now,
do.
hindsight,
Hindsight's
Shoulda done.
2020. Should have done that. I was so dispirited that I was like, never mind, I'm just going to go home. I'm just too sad about this. So I went home, and the next day I went out and got it and was
Nice.
able to play all day. So I won't say that I think I've gotten terribly far. I've unlocked maybe 5 to 6 of what I would consider to be like the beginning areas, because it is important to note that Link's Awakening is very much a true callback to it's the Link Between Worlds treatment. It's basically an updated version, slightly remade and remastered of a very old game. In the case of A Link Between Worlds, it was basically a remaster of A Link to the Past, and in the case of Link's Awakening, hard remaster, that's exactly what it is. So in terms of what you should expect, if you've only been playing more recent Legend of Zelda games, or if you've never played a Zelda game at all, this one definitely follows the older formula, which was much more formulaic and much more linear. So I do want to stress that, you know, if you're coming off of the Breath of the Wild experience, or even to a certain extent just the other games like Skyward Sword and what's that other one that I've really like? I like Phantom Hourglass.
Yeah.
Many people don't, but I do.
What's the other one you like?
I mean, even Wind Waker. All of those are much more open world and more expansive and have a little bit more wiggle room with where you can go and when to a certain extent. With Link's Awakening, that is very much not the case, and I have no problem with that, but some people that aren't used to that or for whom you don't have that nostalgic aspect, you might really not like that because basically the old back in my day, the old Zelda games, you had to basically get to a new area, realize you need to be able to get to a place that you can't get to yet. In order to get to that place, you have to obtain an item, which allows you to complete some sort of puzzle or challenge or dungeon, which gets you, in many cases, the key or some sort of special treasure that you needed to be able to get through that location. So in that aspect, it is often difficult and frequently impossible to move on to the next area of the map if you don't already have the item that you need to get over there. Perfect example of that, I'll kind of give you a mental illustration, is let's say that you want to, this is actually something that I had forgotten, and I was like, oh my God, is this real? Was this how it was in Link's Awakening? And I guess it must have been the same in the original one, but in Link's Awakening, the remaster at least, and keep in mind, I played Link's Awakening literally when I was under the age of 10. There could be a lot that I am remembering incorrectly or that I don't remember at all.
Right.
But in the case of the remaster, when you start, you don't immediately have a sword, of course, because you've washed up on a desert island, your boat went down over stormy seas, so you wash up on shore, a young girl finds you, she's got like beautiful red hair and a pretty blue dress, and you wake up in this house of theirs, and Link kind of, he doesn't speak, of course, but the girl, Marin, is like, who's Zelda? I'm not Zelda, you must be confused, because she kind of looks and acts like Zelda, and you're like, oh, okay, but she's not, whatever, and they're like, welcome to our island or whatever, if you want to leave, you're going to have to wake up this thing called the windfish. And it's basically a gigantic pink Yoshi egg at the top of a mountain.
Okay.
And you're like,
on the game art and everything, the box art. Sorry.
Yes, the game art. I was like, the what?
It's in the game art, technically.
Yes,
but
it is
the
in the
box art
game
is what
art.
I was looking at.
So you have to wake up this thing called the windfish, and you're like, okay, confusing, but whatever. So you leave Marin and Terran's house. That's Marin and her father, and you don't have any of your stuff. You don't even have. You do get your shield. Terran found your shield, and he was like, how do we know your name? It's written on the back of your shield. So he gives you your shield back, and they basically just let you loose. So you're meant to go to the beach first to recover your sword, and once you do, to my great surprise, you are not able to slash through pots.
Really?
Right?
How are you going to find those rupees?
Well, you have to pick them up and throw them to break them.
Oh.
And you actually can't, even damage small bushes of grass without your,
Then
sword.
how are they going to keep their lawns nicely manicured?
I know. I was like, wow, do these people not want me to make their town look really nice?
Get rid of all these excess pots, cut down the tall weeds.
Blew my mind. I was like, what do you mean I can't chop them up to get the rupees out of them?
Could you do that in the Game Boy version?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
remember.
So
it was so long ago. I can't remember. But in every Zelda game since, you've been able to chop the pots. So I was like, this is horse apples? Koji Kondo?
It's just staying true to the original vision.
It is. I'm sure it is. And the thing that blew my mind even further than that, not only can you not slash them with your sword, OG Link, like the old pink-haired Link, was actually too weak to even pick up things like heavy clay pots. So until you get a thing called the power bracelets, you can't even pick them up. You have to get an item which makes you stronger to be able to pick up the pots and smash them.
Nice.
And I was like, this is madness. But it must have been what the old game was like. So I was like, okay, I see what's going on here, whatever. But to kind of backtrack a little bit and talk more about, that was just a tangent for the pots because I was so outraged about it.
Right. with due cause.
In general, I will say that my initial impressions of the game are very good. So when you first boot up the game, it goes through its opening sequence. The animation style that they used for the opening sequence is so pretty. It's like beautiful hand-drawn 2D animation art. It looks so good. I would happily pay many dollars for a full movie. Link could even not talk. It could be like WALL-E, but in that style and with Link.
Right.
I would happily pay for that. But then when the game actually boots up and it's the Link's Awakening style, which is that very top-down, kind of toy-esque style, it's beautiful.
That's the really, having not played the original.
It is really good looking.
That's the number one thing that is attracting me to this game.
I mean, that's the same view and the same general style that you had from the old games, but of course the old games had a super flat plane.
Right.
Like it was top down in that respect, but it's not like you could really kind of see behind anything. There was no 3D aspect to it. In Link's Awakening for the Switch now, everything does actually have dimension, even though it is mostly a this is air quotes here, like a 2D top-down game. So you feel like you have a lot more depth than you very much do, and the colors are just phenomenal. It is a beautiful world, hyper-saturated colors, really nice rounded corners on everything. Yeah. The houses all look really adorable. Everything is just like really cute. The monsters all look and behave really adorably. The Octoroks look so shiny. They're very shiny. I'm like, I want to touch you. And they're like, no, get away from me. We will hurt you. And I'm like, no, I want to be your friend. And all of the character models look just adorable. Everything looks really good. And not only does it look good, it sounds phenomenal.
Nice.
So the old soundtrack, of course, is the whole idea of Link's Awakening is that you have to wake up the Windfish. Where how are you going to wake him up? You have to collect, some games you're collecting pieces of the Triforce, sometimes you're doing other weird crap, whatever. In this game, it really has nothing to do with the Triforce. You're just trying to get off this island. And to do that, you have to wake up the Windfish by playing him an orchestra. Aww. And to play him his orchestra, you have to find all 8 of like the sacred instruments. And there'll be things like a French horn that kind of looks like a conch shell, or this fancy cello. And in the old game, it was all that very pixelated sound, because that's all they had. They only had like the very electronic pixelated sounds. In the new version, it's a full orchestra. Nice. Like they got the full orchestra to do the entire soundtrack, so it sounds just bonkers amazing. And of course, every time you pick up one of the new weapons, one of the new instruments, it'll play you like a real quick snippet of song on its particular sound. So now it's that much more impactful to like pick up the Half Moon Cello. That's what it's called. When you pick up the Half Moon Cello, you like hold it up like old style Link, and he's like, look what I got. And you're like, good for you, little buddy. And then like the Half Moon Cello kind of goes, bow, bow, bow. And it like plays you a little bit of its song, but in an actual real cello sound.
Nice.
And it sounds so good. And I think it might be called like the seashell horn or something. It's clearly a French horn, and I just love the French horn. So when it plays, you're like, oh my God, it's beautiful. And I know from the old game, and I can't even imagine what it's going to sound like now when that final orchestra plays of all of the instruments together.
It's gotta be good.
I'm so excited for it. It's going to be amazing. I've been trying to find an instrumental version of the Ballad of the Windfish on YouTube, and it is not working out for me. So far, I cannot find any like clean renditions of it.
You should wait then.
I know, I'm just going to have to wait.
And just wait and experience it in the game. It'll be that much more powerful.
Obviously, yes. But still, I'm just like, oh man, this is not what I was hoping for. Yeah. But anyways, so the soundtrack is beautiful, and that doesn't just apply to, of course, the main 8 instruments. It's every track that plays, from the Sacred Woods to the swamp to the plains. They all sound really, really good. The combat is, of course, very classic Legend of Zelda combat. Hit B to swing your sword. Hit stuff, it dies. If it's strong stuff, more hits. If it's weak stuff, 1 hit. A couple of new features that they added that I am almost certain, like 99.99% certain weren't in the old game, are sometimes now when you kill an enemy, it will drop like this little triangular shard, and depending on what it is, it's either like a fire shard or something, or an acorn shard, which gives you a temporary like additional shield of defense.
Oh, cool.
Or a temporary up to your offense. It wears off after a little bit, but like a special little track plays when you get one. You either glow blue or red respectively, and then of course the effect happens.
Nice.
I don't really find them superbly useful. I think they may have just been a fun little add-on, because I'm like, okay, this is nice, but I definitely could have played this game without what appears to be this new thing. The most important aspect of the game, though, is that Bow Wow is there. Bow Wow is the only thing I care about.
I have seen
So
Bow
for those
Wow
of you
in
that
images and
don't
videos.
know what Bow Wow is, He is, in fact, a chain chomp. Just a straight-up Mario chain chomp that somehow made his way into Koholint Island. I guess I should have said that way sooner. The the tropical island that you're on is called Koholint Island. It's some sort of weird, fantastical place where chain chomps exist right alongside the regular Helians.
They swam there.
Apparently.
From Mario's world.
I guess they can hold their breath for a really long time.
They just roll on the bottom of the ocean.
I guess so. So you can, now here's something that I don't know if I'm remembering it wrong or if I just forgot about this, but certain things about the game seem to be taking place in a different order than I remember. Because really early on in the game, you get the Rock's Feather. And Rock's Feather enables Link to jump. Like normally he can't jump at all, unless in the newer games, you run at a ledge and he kind of does an auto jump. In the old games, he couldn't jump at all unless you had either Rock's Cape, I think that's in Minish Cap, or something like the Rock's Feather, which allows you to kind of jump in the air, do one quick little flip, and then you come right back down. It's not a huge jump, but it helps you cross gaps. You get the Rock's Feather really early in Link's Awakening for the Switch. And I was like, I'm not sure that that's when you're supposed to get it. So I don't know if that was a change or if I just am totally misremembering that. And another thing that seemed to me, and again, I could be totally wrong about this, I haven't looked up any reviews, so I haven't seen what other people have said about it.
Trying to keep your thoughts pure.
This is my own playthrough. So the other thing that happened, what I felt way too early on, was you got to take Bow Wow for a walk, almost immediately, pretty much on mission number 2, you go and get Bow Wow and you get to take him on a walk and he helps you with your mission. And I was like, did that happen this early in the game? Because I really don't think so. So either I'm misremembering it, which is highly likely, it's been decades since I last played this game, or they changed it. So I don't really care either way. It's just something that I noticed, and I was like, am I the one who's crazy, or is the game crazy? But overall, I will say that I am superbly enjoying it. Fans of the series and fans of Legend of Zelda games will almost certainly adore it as well. If you've only played Breath of the Wild, or you only loved Breath of the Wild and none of the others, you will almost certainly hate Link's Awakening. For the type of person that doesn't really like that linear playstyle and the really simple controls, it's probably not for you. For me, I'm getting a ton of value out of it.
See, now before we started recording, you said to me that you didn't think I would be on board with this.
Don't think you would be.
All these things you're telling me about it, though, I feel like I would be very on board for. I like the fact that I can't go to some parts of the map until I have the appropriate item.
It is very contained.
Very, I know a completely different game, but Breath of the Wild, that's part of my I've said this before. When I was playing it, I was just like, where do I go? What am I doing?
There are markers on your map.
I know there are, but I just mean in general. I get to these parts like, oh, you're on this mission. Okay, you need to go do this and get the shock arrows for the first divine beast and everything. You need to go do that. Well, I get up there and there's this huge monster up there.
You just run around him.
Well, I know, and I did that, but it's just I feel like when I get to those parts, it's still I feel like I should, if the mission is sending me there, I should be equipped already to do it, basically, is the thought process that I had. And so then when that isn't what happens in Breath of the Wild, I'm like, dude, well, what the hell am I supposed to do now?
Do you know what I actually did?
Knowing that that's in Link's Awakening, I'm like, oh, I'm all on board. So what did you actually do?
When I got to that same spot with the Lionel, is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, I was also like, oh shit, there's no way I can fight that thing. So I just kind of ran from tree to tree.
That's what I do.
Yeah, without him seeing it. And I actually thought that was really fun. But the point is, that's neither here nor there. So Link's Awakening, I will happily share my copy with you so that you don't have to purchase it as soon as I'm done.
Right. Yeah,
and then we will see how you feel about it.
Okay.
Oh, another new thing that I almost forgot about that I know is new. There's no way this was in the old game. At certain points, especially in dungeons, or if you find areas that take you underground in general, and this is really charming and cute, and I actually love it as a new addition, it will go into a flat 2D side-scrolling view exactly like old Mario.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's still the updated graphics, but it's clearly old Mario because there are Goombas down there. And
what are these worlds doing
there are
crashing
green
together?
pipes and there are piranha plants down there. And it's actually it's so funny and weird,
That's
but it's like,
hilarious.
this is hilarious. And it's only a few times here and there, but just when it happens, I'm like, how delightful. What a silly blend of worlds.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I think it's really funny, and I was like, good for you, Nintendo, spicing it up a little bit.
But overall, enjoying what you've played so far.
Absolutely.
So how far do you think you are?
I'm probably, I would say 1/3.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know what? That's not true. Depending on the pace at which I get the rest of the instruments, I am 2 instruments in.
Okay.
So that's
That was-
either
that was the next question.
2/8 or 1/4. I
Whichever one sounds
can't
farther
really
along.
do fractions. We'll say 1/4.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds good. So yeah, I mean, still, like I said, like I know it's not my typical Legend of Zelda so far has not been a series that I've spent much time in, but Link's Awakening, like I said before, purely based on the arts alone, I'm like, this looks like a damn delight.
It is a gosh darn delight. It's it's the light-hearted adventure that I needed because it's not difficult.
Yeah.
It's a really old game by today's standards. All of the bosses are really easy. All of the enemies are pretty easy unless you're just actively being stupid. So it's like, oh, this is nice for once.
Nice.
Because I'm also coming off of Celeste.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
like, oh, this is so easy.
Punishing.
And you're coming off of Blasphemous.
Yeah. Which has a lot
Anyways.
of the same thing. Like when you mentioned, like you not be able to get to some areas until you have items. Blasphemous is kind of the same way. Like there are these cherubs that you can collect throughout the game and everything, and there are some that I just know I can't get to. So I'm like, oh, put a pin in that. I'm going to come back to you later when I have the right ability to be able to get to where you are. So I mean, I do enjoy that aspect of it. It'll be nicer though because the enemies are going to be far more forgiving than they are in Blasphemous. So it'll make
Yes.
backtracking and going to these other places a lot easier than in
Indeed.
Blasphemous. But
They did
it still
also-
sounds very fun.
And they did also upgrade the map features in Link's Awakening for the Switch, basically incorporating the same pin system that they used in Breath of the Wild. Which, if you like see a treasure chest and you know you can't get to it and you have to come back to it later, very helpful.
Right.
Good upgrade.
If you have thoughts on The Last of Us Part 2 and what your reactions to the trailer are, we would love to hear them. If you've played Link's Awakening, we want to know what you think of that too. So send us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com or comment on any of the places that you're listening. We'd love to talk about those games with you. But now, before we go, we have to do our soundtrack spotlight, which we were going to do Link's Awakening music, but we decided we're going to save that for
gonna
when we do
save
the
it.
final full conclusion review of the game. But instead, we're going to bring you a song from Control that was submitted to us by one of our patrons on our Discord. And it is, he says, Control is one of the coolest set pieces I've ever played in a video game, and this song is blasting in the background the entire time. By the way, the Old Gods of Asgard is a fictional band that is featured in Remedy's games, most notably Alan Wake and now Control.
I love it when like studios do stuff like
That's
that.
pretty
like
cool.
make
Like,
their
it's a
own
fun extra
fake.
step.
It's so extra.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's great. But so the game is Take Control by the Old Gods of Asgard. So enjoy this. We're sending you out with a headbanger, literally.
Literally.
It's some fun heavy metal. We listened to it before we started recording. It's a great track, and we hope you enjoy it as well. Again, that is Take Control by the Old Gods of Asgard from Control. But until next time, well, I guess technically Extra Life.
Until Extra Life.
We will, which again, so we're going on hiatus for October. You might still hear from us. I'm not going to say you won't. You might still hear from us with some little drops of fun in between now and Extra
I
Life.
don't like the words drops
Drops of fun. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll change that. I'll switch it up. You might
Censor
have
that
fun
out.
tidbits. Any better? No.
No!
Okay. Anyway, we might pop up here and then throughout the month of October with some fun stuff
Call
for
it
you to enjoy.
funfetti.
Funfetti for you
Yeah.
all to enjoy. But we will for sure see you back on November 2nd for our Extra Life 24-hour stream. We'll be raising money to help children's hospitals. So
In our case, Dell Children's.
Dell Children's Hospital. So please come. Sign up if you want to take part. Sign up. We'll be posting the links and everything for our team that you can join to help us raise even more money. And so we'll be giving more information on that in the coming days, weeks, until November 2nd. So it's going to be a great time. We'll see you all then. But until then, stick around for the song.